Yes, tour of Romandie, and I know what you're thinking. Romandie?
Ain't no country I ever heard of.
Yes, in fact, it's part of Switzerland and...
They speak English in
Romandie? No, French, and we've got 6 stages to get through, so can we... Thank you. Prologue, uphill time trial, kind of a rolling stair-step climb with corners and bad pavement. Mark Cavendish went at the stage with all the enthusiasm of a man who'd lost a bar bet, while Ryder Hessedal looked nothing like a guy ready to defend his Giro crown in a week. But at the happy end of the results sheet, Sky's Chris Froome showed some pretty impressive power in his TT position, refusing even in the final meters to relinquish his grip on the aero bars. Garmin Sharp's Andrew Talansky showed a similar effort to remain aero through steeper and tighter sections, but relented in the final meters, which, I can assure you, was not the cause of his 6-second deficit to Froome, though it might have contributed to his decisive win in the post-race suffering category. The top 20 were all within 30 seconds, so a reasonably tight field, but Froome was the only one to ride back down the hill on a helicopter. Stage 1, 3 categorized climbs, including a Cat 2, and yes, by Romandie standards, this is a sprinter's stage. Don't tell that to Mark Cavendish, though, who was dropped before TV coverage even began. Sky kept a bunch of moves on a very short leash until about 15k to go, when Omega Pharma came to the front and promptly burnt all their matches, pulling in a 2-man move. We'll skip over 7k of leaderless chaos to take things just outside 300 meters to go. Here's Omega Pharma Quickstep's Johnny Meersman, not in what's generally considered great position. But Meersman stays cool and never stops pedaling, even for this ballet move around Roberto Ferrari's rear wheel. And he doesn't so much as smell the wind until he's already at top speed. Meersman almost gets pipped during his early celebration by Radio Shack Leopard's Giacomo Nizzolo, but that just makes the replays look cooler. Stage 2, GC unchanged, Sky back on the front, 3 riders up including Johnny Hoogerland, who clearly needs a radio or a better GPS. Cat 3 climb late in the race, there goes Cav, there goes actually a lot more people than Cav. No mercy from the Sky Boys today. Split field coming into the line, and Argos Shimano's Luka Mezgec decides he's going to dive bomb this final bend at 450 meters, clumping up everyone behind him and opening a big gap to the 3 riders in front, which he now has to sprint to close. But that's just fine by Garmin Sharp's Ramunas Navarduskas, who uses the Croatian's burst to get up to speed and just keeps going. Probably should have drifted to the right a bit to make things tougher for his pursuers, but he's not a sprinter, so I'll forgive that. Stage 3. Are we detecting a pattern yet? Now you know why people use this race for training. Despite a barrage of flyers all day, Sky kept the pressure on, though wear and tear began to show with a few of their workhorses cracking just inside the final 20 kilometers. Omega Pharma took firm hold of the race at 4k to go and drove a textbook lead-out into the final 400 meters. Orica Green Edge's Michael Albacini tried to get a drop on Meersman, but the Belgian was more than up to the task and shut the gate firmly enough on Astana's Francesco Gavazzi that had there been a protest, they just might have given it to him. Finally, the reckoning, to a sense of, oh, well, it's still an uphill finish, which means a serious GC change for the first time since the prologue. No points for guessing that Sky would be dictating pace, but did you expect FTJ to be coming forward to work for Thibaut Pinot? And shelling people, including his second-place GC rider, Talansky. It's not 2005 anymore, huh? Radio Shack Leopard's Robert Kieserlowski began the attacks at 13k to go, and several other riders hit out to join him over the next few kilometers. But when Richie Porte popped, leaving Froome the only Sky rider in the chase, the Brit went to the front and ground the rest of the group off his wheel, then rode through the leaders, and finally met up with Katusha's Simon Spilak, who had attacked the attack moments earlier. The climb flattened substantially towards the top, but it became rapidly apparent that the 2 riders cooperating would easily outpace the 11 or so behind them who were not. Spilak took the win, while Froome collected more padding on GC. Finally, something flat. But at a mere 18 kilometers, hardly much opportunity to claw back time. Tony Martin, with a sharp-looking red dossard for an idiotic attack on stage 4, picked apart the course with his trademark blend of power and precision. But Froome's margin left Spilak the only competitor with a real chance, and despite a spirited effort from the Slovenian, and a surprisingly labored one from the race leader, the Sky rider managed 3rd on the day, comfortably giving him the overall win. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that's how the race was won. Sorry, no original music or jokes at the end today, again due to my little ride to New York last Thursday. A quick reminder that you can still buy yourself 20 seconds of Rantcast by contributing to the Indiegogo fundraiser for People for Bikes. Just go to cyclocosm.com/PFB, and if you have no idea what a Rantcast is, visit my SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/CosmoCatalano.
Goodbye.